A warm virtual welcome to our ARSL friends. I'm Melissa Nicholas from Hachette Book Group and joined by my delightful colleague Annie Mazes. I'll
Hi.
share some I'll share some highlights from our fall 22 and winter 23 lists from the Orbit, Grand Central, Little Brown, and Perseus publishing lists. We'll start with fiction and sashay over to nonfiction. And then Annie will share titles from Workman Publishing. Next slide. The World We Make. N.K. Jemisin is a MacArthur Fellow and so much more, including the first author in history to win 3 consecutive Best Novel Hugo Awards, all for her Broken Earth trilogy. This is the second book in N.K.'s first series set in the real world. This duology is a story of culture, identity, magic, and myths, and it takes place in New York City. N.K.'s fans have been very patient, and they will be delighted when this book hits library shelves on November 1st. Next slide. Meredith alone. Oh, Meredith is a deeply wounded character, but she's not depressing. Her determination to lead as full a life as possible while trapped inside her home will have you all cheering for her from the very beginning. A traumatic event made it impossible for Meredith to conceive of leaving of her house for 3 years, and she knows she needs to address this. This novel, well, I already mentioned trauma, but there's so much more heart and humor and baking. It's perfect for fans of Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine. And Claire Alexander, the author, is on a fiction panel at Library Journal's Day of Dialogue on October 20th, which is free and a virtual event. So hope to see you all there. Next slide. Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. We are so excited that Kennedy has joined the Forever list. This is a steamy romance filled with complex characters and a deep exploration of a couple who's recovering from a family tragedy. And can conscious uncoupling lead to conscious coupling? You have to read to find out. Ideal for fans of Colleen Hoover, Tia Williams, and Helen Huang. Next slide. The Light Pirate is a sweeping and hopeful story of survival and resilience, spanning one extraordinary woman's lifetime as she navigates the uncertainty, brutality, and arresting beauty of a rapidly changing world. This novel's center is Wanda, and she's named after the hurricane in which she was born. We move from her childhood to adulthood, adapting not only to the changing landscape, but also to the people who stayed behind in a place abandoned by civilization. Wanda loses family, gains community, and ultimately seeks adventure, love, and purpose in a place remade by nature. In the event you have patrons who read that Where the Crawdads Sing, here's a new book for them. Next slide. The Sense of Wonder is a gem of a novel in less than 300 pages. There's basketball, visualize a fictionalized homage of Linsanity. And if you know, you know. Don't let that stop you if you don't. There's Korean drama, which hits very close to my ABC soap heart, unrequited love, hero worship, challenges of immigration, romance. A coworker recently compared it to Jerry Maguire. And I don't know if there was karaoke in Jerry Maguire, but there is in Sense of Wonder. It's a heartwarming story that captures our hearts in a slim volume. And Matthew is also on a fiction panel at Day of Dialogue on October 20th. Next slide. I think there was a collective whisper. Melly Mel, please have a World War II novel on your list, ideally set in Poland. Yes, I do. The Snow Hare follows our main character, Lena, dreaming of becoming a doctor until the war gets in the way, leading her instead into astonishing love and a fateful choice. In this book, we explore motherhood, marriage, consequences, and our incredible human capacity for hope. The Snow Hare is a story of a woman who dares to love and dream in the face of impossible odds, and the peace we must each make with our choices long after the years have gone by. Next slide. The Bird Has Flown is a delightfully funny and romantic debut novel from Susanna Hoffs. Yes, the celebrated performer and co-founder of the Bangles. This is a funny, sexy new novel. It offers a glimpse into the music business. It's perfect for fans of Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I'm so delighted that we have a e-galley for you at the virtual booth. Next slide. All right, we have arrived at the nonfiction interlude, the revolutionary Samuel Adams. Stacy Schiff restores Samuel to his rightful place as the founder of the revolution. He was the colony's leading propagandist, political organizer, and spark plug. His life had 3 acts: First, a failure as a business person, and last, mediocrity as a governor and a statesperson. But the middle act, during the decades leading up to the shot heard around the world, he was one of the greatest he had one of the greatest performances in American history. Next slide. Ghosts of the Orphanage is a shocking expose of the dark, secret history of Catholic orphanages, violence, abuse, and even murder that took place within their walls, and a call to hold the powerful to account. Told with compassion, Ghosts of the Orphanage is not only a gripping story that reads like a novel, but a reckoning. It's proof that real evil lurks at the edges of our society, and that if we have the courage, we can bring it into light and defeat it. Next slide. The Future is Analog is by the beloved author of The Revenge of Analog, and it lays out a case for a human future, not the false technological utopia we've been living. Consider this. For many people, the best part of the quarantine have been the least digital ones, baking bread, playing board games, going hiking, and this book suggests that if we want a healthy future, we need not convenience, but community, and not technology, but humanity. Next slide. Oh, think. This is also a digital galley for your perusal. In a series of exacting and fierce vignettes, Thomas guides readers through the unceasing cruelty that defined his youth, laying bare the depths of his loneliness and illuminating the vital reprieve that geek culture offered him. It's perfect for readers of Casey Lemon and Carmen Maria Machado. And Joseph is also going to be on a panel, a nonfiction panel at Library Journal's Day of Dialogue. Next slide. I think it's time to turn it over to Annie.
Hello. Thank you, Melissa. I'm Annie Mazes, and I'm going to be talking about some of Workman's titles that are coming out in the next few months. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. First up is Ejaculate Responsibly by Gabriel Blair. In a series of 28 accessible and funny arguments reframing the abortion issue, Gabriel Blair definitely makes the case for moving the abortion debate away from controlling and legislating women's bodies, and instead directs the focus on men's lack of accountability in preventing unwanted pregnancies. Gabrielle is a powerhouse. She's the founder of Alt Summit and DesignMom.com. She is a very practicing religious Mormon with 6 children. She has a huge following of people across the political divide. She's not trying to make this a divisive conversation at all. She's just trying to reframe it in a way that might start a different perspective on a very challenging conversation. Next up, we have American Roots. It's an inspiring celebration of the wide-ranging styles that define the modern American garden, as revealed through the home gardens of 20 of the most important designers and creatives working today. It is lushly photographed and covers all the regions of the country. It includes design tips and plant suggestions, and it will guide and encourage anyone looking to dig more deeply into their own home gardens. Fatty Fatty Boom Boom is a personal favorite. Rabia Chowdhury is brilliant. She's the co-host of Undisclosed, the most popular wrongful conviction podcast in the world. Now she turns her piercing gaze to her own life, writing a memoir about body image, family, and food. Chowdhury's memoir offers readers a relatable and powerful voice that dispenses with the politics and gets to what every woman who has ever struggled with their weight will relate to. This got a Kirkus starred review. I Am the Light of This World is by acclaimed author Michael Parker. It tells the story of one decision that irrevocably changes the life of a young man. In the early 1970s, 17-year-old Earl meets Tina, who then disappears, and Earl is subsequently wrongfully jailed for her death. 40 years later, Earl is released from prison. He can barely navigate the world around him, but just as he starts to find a rhythm and rebuild some semblance of a life, the past returns to endanger it all. For fans of Ron Rash and Rachel Kushner. Factory Girls is getting great acclaim, 2-star reviews already, I'm very excited to say. It's from the author of Big Girl, Small Town, and it is another hilarious, perceptive novel set during the Troubles in Ireland. It's the summer of 1994, and all Maeve Murray wants are good final grades so she can get out of her town. It's perfect for fans of voice-driven stories with bite and humor, like Derry Girls on Netflix or novels by Douglas Stewart or Roddy Doyle. Moonrise Over New Jessup is a tremendous debut novel. It's the winner of the 2021 PEN Bellwether Prize for Socially Engaged Fiction. It's thought-provoking, about a Black woman doing everything it takes to protect all that she loves at the beginning of the civil rights movement in Alabama. Jamila Minnick's it's a debut, as I said, and it is a celebration of Black joy and a timely examination of the opposing viewpoints that attended desegregation in America for readers of The Vanishing Half or Robert Jones Jr.'s The Prophets. The Great Escape is an eye-opening, emotional page-turner that exposes our treatment of immigrants and the fallout from globalization. This astonishing story of 500 foreign workers from India lured to the United States under false pretenses and entrapped in near slavery conditions is told by a visionary labor leader who devised a plan that would ultimately win these men citizenship. And last but not least, Home Detox. From cleaning products to mattresses, furniture, food storage materials, and more, our homes are filled with hidden toxins that can contribute to chronic health conditions. Professional toxicologist and health writer Daniela Chase offers an enlightening and accessible room-by-room guide to identifying and removing potentially toxic items, along with suggestions for safe, affordable alternatives. That is it from us. We hope you have a wonderful conference, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.